You're gonna have to forgive me. I think this video is gonna get a little bit, not necessarily dark, but a little open with where we're at. You know, the more I look around and look into the state of things to see really what potential the future holds for what I'm trying to make happen with my life, I'm kind of gripped with this existential awareness of all the compounding crises and systemic issues that are going to really make um, the opportunities that I want to make happen, the things that I'm chasing, uh, more and more steadily difficult. Not only is it a hyper competitive thing with wrestling that I've been engaged in and been putting work and effort into and doing for a pretty decent span of time now. I'm finding in my own life situation and just what I've had to go through, it's an endurance struggle on top of trying to keep the scant amount of resources that I do have available to me going. Um, it's just been rough with the lack of available work. Even though I'm employed, I'm just not really making a whole lot circumstantially to change my situation. My scheduling is making it hard to find opportunities to enroll in schooling and get that going. I feel like I'm probably going to have to look for and find a better alternative to make that schooling happen in the first place. And at this time, I know very soon the price is going to go up for that too. All the while, I'm struggling to keep a decent enough income just to afford groceries. I'm not really able to save a whole lot of what I do make. I'm concerned about whether or not I'm going to have access to my gym in the future, if that's going to be another expenditure. I don't have a vehicle. I don't have the availability of a place to live on my own. I'm living with 7 people in my household, all with conflicting life circumstances that just make it harder and harder to get out of that situation. My life is just perpetually waking up, working out, sleeping, doing whatever I can on the side to kind of keep myself copacetic. And the more time goes on and the more I start approaching, like my middle age, I feel like I'm steadily running out of opportunities to just leave this and take huge risks. And a big part of it is just because I don't know the stability of the world and what it's going to present in the near future, whether that's going to put me in a better situation or a worse situation. It's just been rough. This small town living and lifestyle where everything is exorbitantly overpriced now, to the degree where you can't really find the resources to escape or get out of it. I feel like I'm entombed in a situation I don't want to be in or didn't ask to be in, and stuck with a lot of things that are not my own to deal with. I feel like a lot of people are feeling this and waking up to this circumstance, and substantially just this same issue is presenting itself to a lot of people, and they're all being pointed in the same directions or the same circumstance of having to keep up with the pace of the machine in the system, learn all the atrocious, ridiculous fucking nonsense of where we're at and where it's going and how it got to this. They're being given answers by, alternative lifestyles or looking for things outside of the circumstance of Western influences, and these beliefs and ideals don't really offer much anything better than to just give them the answer of chop wood, carry water. It's the same no matter where you go. Your circumstances are going to be what they are, and they're just that, pretty much. And the only thing you can do is essentially be dependent on the same system that's putting you through these circumstances, hoping that it'll get better, but continuously seeing it progress into just becoming more diluted and demented and decaying and declining in anything that it really promised. Certain things happen sometimes that show signs of things slowly getting better, and they're quickly washed or pushed to the wayside by a new momentum of another spiraling event and circumstance that perpetually keeps everything stagnant. And I think a time is approaching and coming where people are realizing we just don't have the wherewithal and the resources, human or material, to really keep up this fucking game, this circus. People are worn down. All they're doing is pressing for a better life, but everybody's chasing that opportunity in the same direction, and it comes from where down on high, from the same system that put them in the circumstances to begin with. It's just more compliance and complacency in the same set of gold chains that everybody is locked in and bridled in. You can't really walk away from it without your life being uprooted or threatening or jeopardizing not just your circumstances, but maybe the circumstances of other people around you, whether or not you even have the capacity to care. I kind of do. There's people who rely and depend on me for some things, and that, regardless of what people might believe, circumstantially gives me meaning and purpose to go on and keep going. At the same time, I feel like there's days I wake up and I get nothing out of life. It's just a mechanical action. I'm just watching this experience go by. And all the while just feeling the weight and the heaviness of really feeling like a confined bird in a cage. My spirit is oftentimes a lot higher and freer about going through life and circumstances and things, but my body aches. It's getting older. Emotions and thoughts kind of at times come and go just about what I really can do in my circumstance. And I keep finding there's not really anything I can do but keep pressing forward. That's regardless of everything offered in this day and age, it's just the same game of accumulating money and resources and expenditures that just continuously cost you. No matter what you stack in your favor, everything is a numerical value that steadily and constantly and continuously just exorbitantly demands everything of you in order to keep. And all the while, life just continues to beat you over the head. I think a lot of people are realizing too, they're just in a position in life where every day is a repetitive Groundhog Day. And circumstantially, no matter what positivity you try to spin on it, it's the same circumstance unilaterally all the way down. No matter what you do, no matter what you change, no matter what you try, it's all the same circumstance of a broken system that confines people to just having freedom marketed to them as an ideal, not ever actually like true, real freedom, true opportunity to roam about their circumstances and wander and find a place in the world or find a place in the life that isn't barred and given a price tag, or their opportunities aren't challenged by the demand of normalcy, if there ever was such a thing in this day and age. You have to follow the same codex and structure of hyper aristocratic conformity to be in the very civilization that you were born into, that is actively engaging and embridling itself in an effort and endeavor to break your spirits and make you just a mechanical apparatus in this machine structure. You get little rewards and little trinkets for participating, trophies, little amenities granted to you, little benefits and advantages as you go. They steadily shrink and decline as people steadily begin to realize that the system has less and less to really offer other than products and more commodity and more promises of higher expectations and career paths that come equipped with gold chains. It just doesn't promise any benefit. It just promises the continued perpetuation of the same structure that keeps everybody confined in life to the same circumstance and the same repetitive outcomes of life, and your entire life being lived in a templated idea of what life is. Even if you don't want the things that are offered to you by that template, you still have to follow the same rules and parameters and structures of what that template would promise to people who do. You're forced to conform and confine and restrict and bar and barricade yourself by the civilization's expectations to such a degree that it psychologically, emotionally, and spiritually breaks you. It wears and tears and erodes your body. It destroys any paths and avenues from really creating the necessary adaptations to get out of your circumstances and, you know, have the wherewithal to survive on your own, to travel on your own. Everything is restricted and confined to being an extension of the system. Everything is restricted and confined to be gatekept through apparatuses of what society and civilization provide. It's just a giant fucking market and a continuous, non-stop selling of the world and its material resources and the people too as products. All you are is an apparatus. All you are is a wind-up toy to this world. And people are fucking sick and tired of having their humanity stripped from them, having their will demanded, exercised in the direction of doing things they don't want to fucking do, dealing with things they wouldn't otherwise fucking tolerate, having to stay quiet and stay silent for threat of other people essentially being able to weaponize and manipulate language and story narrative and ruin their fucking lives and their reputations. The only advantage I have is that I don't really have a whole lot going in this world. I've had to build from the bottom, so I don't really have anything worth losing to begin with. I've been surviving off the bare minimum circumstance for a majority of my life, so I don't really have anything more to lose. In fact, you know, the people I cared about most circumstantially that I wanted to be close with are at a time period in their lives where they've gone their separate ways. Some of them are still around, and we're holding on to hope and trying to push through and be strong and there for one another. Other friends, like, they have their own life circumstances now. They're gone. They're living on a different path. They have ideas that conflict and contrast and don't really see the whole bigger picture. They're sucked and bridled into living that same lifestyle that they were told to pursue. And I don't judge or blame or condemn them for doing so, but the people that I cared about most, I'm really not all that close to, admittedly, anymore. So the ship of the circumstances I was hoping for sailed a long fucking time ago. The world doesn't really have a whole lot to offer me, not with everything I've seen and everything I've been forced to see and everything I've been meant to go through and everything I've been put through that I didn't fucking ask for. I'm just at a point and place in my life where I honestly just want to walk off the map. I want to go roam and just not worry about the circumstances of what befalls me. I'm at that point where the absurdity and the fear of doing something like that honestly just doesn't fucking scare me anymore. And that's a terrifying place in itself to be, but I've stood with that existential terror of wondering and guessing whether or not this was going to get better or going to get worse. And now I've come to a point where honestly I feel like I don't fucking care anymore. I really don't. It's not my role and obligation to take care of a civilization that chooses to fucking cannibalize itself, or correct other people's ideals and their circumstances and expectations for what they want out of a world that I have no paths and avenues to provide. It's not my job or my duty to continuously give myself away and watch other people prosper while I'm left in the same dust I've always sat in. I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of going through the circumstance and the motions of fighting and struggling very hard for everything that I worked for and everything I believe in, just to see it decay because of things that are entirely out of my fucking control, that I have no say in. This world's more a prison than anything to me. You're told you can go and pursue and make anything happen, and it comes with a ladder of hierarchical ideas that time and time again have proven to me that that is not the case and that is not the circumstance. It's just a marketing Ponzi scheme that's being sold to you. Your lifestyle, your direction, the amenities that come with it. You're being sold a box, gold chains to keep you in it. The same role. Just given different modalities. You're just being used. You're being used so other people can profit and benefit, and they're going to divvy up whatever it is that you present in this world, and they're going to cut it up, and they're going to give you a small portion of that back to you for everything that you've been put through, for every circumstance that you've had to endure, for every situation and scenario that left you broken and you pressed on anyway, having hope, having faith that things would get better. Well, this world will continuously sell you that over and over and over again, and all the while you'll just be in the same situation and scenario you always have been in. It's commodified and domesticated life to such a degree that everything feels like plastic. It's fake. Life doesn't feel real anymore. It feels hollow and dead. It feels like that Buddhist folktale of the realm of hungry ghosts. Never satiated, never satisfied, always seeking more. The suffering never eases. It just is temporarily satiated, only to be replaced with the same sensation of emptiness. It's always been there. And that's all the civilization and societies are doing, is walking directly into that parable and living it. Living dead. Feeding on whatever, satiates and nourishes that state of emptiness. Anything but what actually matters. Anything but what is actually beneficial. Anything but what could provide a medium and an outcome that would unilaterally level the playing field and make life less this race and chase of wandering a labyrinth of pursuing decadence and ideals of freedom and actually just being fucking free. Free to live in the world. Free to travel the world. Free to wander the world. We can't have that. We can't have that because of all the existential threats of people with nefarious reasons and ideals and purposes. People probably pushed in those positions because the civilization was unforgiving and cruel and as much a machine as it is. Yeah, some people can't copacetically hold on to being confined to an institution that literally parasitically lives off the life that the planet provides and the people that come into this world with their own sets of hopes and dreams and ideals and things that they want to make a reality. Can't have that because it can't be controlled. It can't circumstantially be contained in a way that benefits and keeps the system perpetuated in the same continuous cycles, that the repetition of history that it always has been. But it can be distorted. You could be manipulated. You could be given and have ideas planted in you and the same ideals of generation upon generation and generation, the same hat trick. It always plays out circumstantially. There comes a point in time where you realize all words fall short of what people are trying to define and describe, and plant and sow within you to get you to realize, get you to come to that circumstantial idea of acceptance and gratitude and having the wherewithal and courage to withstand what this world throws at you. Yeah, those are all fine, noble things. The reality is you only gain and garner those when you really accept. The world doesn't give circumstances and handouts and freebies for people suffering. It just expects you to endure whatever it's pushing in the direction of. It's going to continue to have that expectation no matter what you do, no matter what you try to make happen. It's giving less and less amenities and provisions that actually make it worthwhile to do so. And it's running out of options. So the truth is, it's corrupted and distorted and commodified everything. Materialism, consumerism, politics, religion, spirituality. It's turned everything into a marketing tool and an instrument and an apparatus. And at what point in time does a world become just a point collection score in a video game? And that, even that, sounds like a scam. Digitize the world and make it just one giant game. Well, then what? What happens when people are too worn out from what they've already experienced in this world to want to continue playing? Are they allowed to leave the server, or does it just become an expectation that the game must go on, the show must go on? Are we just going to continue to force and push people into adversity so challenging, so cruel, so punishing? They have no choice but to live perpetuating this, keeping it going, surviving. What happens when you wear the civilization down to such a degree? What happens when you wear your people down to such a degree? When you essentially evaporate the gene pool's ability to withstand your expectations and the totality of what you're trying to pursue and create on this world, that it literally just leads to a slow decay and decline in everything. The very people pursuing are just going to shack up all the resources and hoard it to themselves and keep it, and leave everybody else to suffer. If that was all they could get their hands on, they'll take that too. And the situation and the circumstance for everyone else living and abiding in the world won't really get any better. It'll be the same draconian medieval game it's always been. It'll just be surviving on the greediest fucking planet in existence. I'm sorry, but I don't have like the strength and the ability to treat humanity like I used to. It's not that I don't have compassion for other people. I don't care about other people, because I do. I just see that no matter what you do, people are going to continuously keep moving in the direction of the same thing that calls all of us to this fake performance. And I'm tired of performing. Or I'm at least tired of not being able to perform like and how I would want to, how I envisioned, how I dreamed, how I imagined. There's a parable that says the clothes don't make the man, but that's all I've ever been